Hey boss, should I buy Airbnb?
Well, intern, thanks for the question. You should really do your own research before investing. And there's always a lot of hype around IPOs, so don't let the FOMO push you into buying a stock just because everyone else is. But you've given me a great idea for a video. I think I can go through the reasons why I'm buying Airbnb for the long term and whether I will be doing a lump sum versus cost averaging investing method. So well done, intern, for doing something right for once. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Euan, and on this channel we talk about personal finance and investing in the stock market. So if there's something that tickles your fancy, then why not hit the subscribe button and like the video, because it does really help out the channel. So let's talk about Airbnb. Should I buy Airbnb, and more importantly, should you? Airbnb are being IPO'd today. IPO'd? That's not right. They're having their IPO today. Nah, IPO'd sounds better. If you don't know what an IPO is, it's an initial public offering. So it means that a previously privately owned company is now going public, which means any Tom, Dick or Harry can now buy shares in that company. Companies do this in order to raise capital to fund their future ventures, their future investments, etc, etc. And Airbnb's is set to be one of the largest of 2020. So let's get into the first of 3 reasons why I'm buying Airbnb. Number 1 is hotels are dead. They are legit dead. RIP hotels. And to prove this point, I sent my intern out on some research and he asked a few people around town to see what they thought of Airbnb and hotels. So intern here, I'm out and about asking people about Airbnb. When was the last time you stayed in an Airbnb?
Last time I stayed in a hotel was... can't remember, but Airbnb was last week.
Excuse me, miss. Airbnb or hotel?
Airbnb, I would say.
Excuse me, mate, have you ever stayed in an Airbnb?
Yeah, mate, I do it all the time with my mates.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer an Airbnb or a hotel?
I prefer Airbnb because I get pan and chocolate on myself.
And that's it from me, out and about. Back to you in the studio. So thanks for that, intern. Hopefully you got a wide array of people from around town to discuss Airbnb and why hotels are dying. So according to the research, hotels are a dying breed because no one really wants to stay in a hyped up dormitory and eat breakfast with random people who steal all the pain au chocolats. Steaks. Airbnb's biggest advantage over hotels at the moment is that they offer non-contact check-in. There are going to be hotels that do offer this, but if you're checking in around the same time as 20 other families, 20 other couples, blah, blah, then there's definitely a risk of catching coronavirus, even if it might be a bit more safer than talking to the receptionist. Who knows? Airbnb, you're pretty much isolated from everyone and you can just go in and do your own thing and you don't even have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. So I believe that hotels are going to struggle until the beer thing is over and then we'll see what happens then. But Airbnb are going to roll and roll and roll up until this beer thing is over and they will have a serious momentum going into 2020 and following that. The second reason is I actually use this service. I'm a big believer in investing in companies and products that you actually use. This is because you are the consumer. You know if the product's good, why it's good, etc, etc. And if you're using it on a consistent basis over other products, then there must be a reason for that. There must be a USP for using that product or service. I've personally stayed in over 12 different Airbnbs across the world, across Europe, in the last 3 years. So that's around 4 times a year, spending at least £100 every single time. So that might not seem like a lot now, but I feel like a lot more people will continue to use Airbnb and more people will open their eyes to see Airbnb's potential and where they could go in the future, considering what's happened this year. And the third reason is Airbnb actually posted a profit in the last quarter, which is really unexpected because a lot of people have not been able to travel. So they did struggle in the first half of 2020, but with a few redundancies and cost cutting, they are back on track. So redundancies and cost cutting is not ideal, but I think a leaner company, a leaner structure of the company will allow for greater profits in the future and an opportunity when the beer thing does end. Everyone and their dog will try and leave the country and Airbnbs will be available to rent, so there will be a lot of opportunity for Airbnb hosts and Airbnb as a company. So I personally won't be investing loads into Airbnb right now, purely because I don't have a lot to invest, but I can invest more and more as we go on. But for example, what would I do if I had 10k right now to invest in Airbnb? So I'd say I have two options. I could either lump sum the whole thing and invest 10k into Airbnb right now, or I could cost average the 10k and put in 1k every week for the next 10 weeks and see what happens then. So let's talk about the lump sum option first. When it comes to stocks, they tend to be more volatile than, let's say, an ETF or an index fund, especially recently IPO'd stocks. So investing the 10k I don't think would be the best idea if that was all you plan to invest. The reason for this is because you could invest that 10k at the highest point that Airbnb will ever go. And therefore you'd be stuck in the red for the whole entire time unless it grows rapidly over the next few years. Or maybe you'll hit the jackpot and it will go up 121% and you can take some profits immediately. But we're in it for the long term, so it doesn't really matter how quickly it goes up or down, because long-term investing is the way forward. So the other option we have is the cost average in. So let's just say Airbnb is brought like crazy and it goes up 20, 30, 40% today. People tomorrow would definitely jump out the stock and it would absolutely plummet. And this could potentially happen over the next few days as people decide to buy in and sell and buy in and sell. So it could look a bit like this, very, very volatile. And it could be volatile for a while. Snowflake, who IPO'd last week, their stock price went up and down like strippers' booty go. Sorry, mum. Had to be done. So cost averaging aims to protect us all from the volatility of the market. The way this works, for example, is if you buy the share today at £50 and then the next day it drops to 45, then you buy it again and then it's at 47 because you average out. So this happened and you just buy every single day, no matter what the price is, and then you just end up with the average of all of these, which I think is a really good thing because, say it with me, no matter how good I think I am, no matter how many Warren Buffett videos I've watched on investing, I cannot time the market. That good? Understand? Good. So there we have the two options, but we don't necessarily have to choose either one of them. We could do both perhaps. Take Facebook for example. If you bought at their IPO price of £38, if then you bought 10k's worth of shares, roughly today it'd be worth around £54,000. So after 8 years, that's a compound annual growth rate of 23.3%. However, during Facebook's IPO year, it actually dropped to half of what it was when it IPO'd. So if you'd bought then, you would have obviously doubled your returns. So this is the reason why I think you should do a mixture of both. Invest at the IPO because you never know where it might go, but also if you cost average in as well, then you get the advantage of when it does dip, or if it does dip, then you get the advantage of investing when it's going down. So if you do believe in the company, invest at the start, invest consistently, and invest when it goes lower, because hopefully you'll get a bigger return based off that. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna invest around 30% of £300, which is £100. I know it's not a lot, but it's all I got. And then over the next few weeks, I'll invest £50 every week and then see where it takes me. I will also add Airbnb to my millionaire pie because I do believe in the long-term growth. We are a long-term growth team community over here. So we're all about the long term, nothing short term at all. So I'll share the link to my millionaire pie in the description. And if you want to join Training 212, then you get a free share for doing so. So what do you think? Will you be investing in Airbnb? Will you do it now or you wait for it to drop? Or what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and thanks for watching. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm trying to help you become one. So, peace.
I would say Airbnb.
Yeah, you need to do that.